Hello and welcome everyone to the SSCAIT report. I'm Chobo Swaggins, aka Jealous on Team Liquid, and I'm back from hiatus due to work and vacations and such. So I want to thank Nightcat for covering for me for the past few broadcasts. Today we'll be doing something that we've done in the past, something different from the usual fare. We've mostly caught up with our queue of recommended replays, so if there's a game that you've seen recently, either on the SSCAIT or Schnail streams, or if you've been reviewing games from the recent AIIDE tournament and find something cool, please feel free to post them in our Discord. The link for the AIIDE tournament and to the SSCAIT Discord can be found in the description below. On the agenda today, we will be doing games against Stardust, the AI that has been ravaging the scene for over a year now. It recently got an update on Schnail, which is the StarCraft Human and AI League, the link for which you can also find in the description below. Schnail is where humans can face off against many of the AI you regularly see featured on the stream, including Monster, Krazio, Banana Brain, Adias, and of course Stardust. As you can see here, Stardust received an update earlier this month. From what the bot author has stated on Discord, this version is stronger than the one I faced off against earlier this year for the AIST show match, so I'm excited to see what improvements we can glean from playing against this AI. I will try to play against Stardust in every matchup, so PvP, PvT, ZVP, yes. um, and uh, and I expect to get thoroughly dismantled because, disclaimer, I am not all that great, nor am I in the best shape right now. In my sound check earlier, I started to sweat and breathe heavily, and you are free to poke fun at my inevitable mistakes. Hopefully, it will be entertaining and the viewers can get a sense of what it feels like to face up against this top tier Brood War AI. Anyway, I've stalled enough, so let's jump into it. This is the Schnail client, which you can download and run quite easily yourself if you want to give these AI a run for their money yourself. I selected my race at the top, and the enemy's race is shown here to the left of the AI, and the map is the one that we selected below. We're in practice mode, so we have a bit more freedom with our settings, but in ranked mode you face off against a random opponent that is close to your LO setting. LO rating, sorry. um, we'll start off with Terran, as that should be a slower paced start just so that I can get a bit warmed up, but I expect that the game will take off when I try to move out, and that's only if we get that far. So without further ado, I'm going to launch the game now by clicking play. It's going to pop up StarCraft on its own automatically, and we should be able to see it in a second. Yep, there we go. And here I am inside the game. I'm Terran up top, and Stardust has joined as Protoss, so I'm going to try to cast while I play, which is always a bit difficult, but let's see how that goes. So right off the bat, we're going to split, and we're going to change our color to teal just because I have gotten used to that. So one thing that AI have an instant advantage on in against humans is the fact that they automatically split at the start, so they never have any input errors. They also have optimized mining paths and optimized mining efficiency, meaning that they actually get more bang from their buck from every work that they have. This makes it incredibly difficult in mirror matchups like PvP, where Stardust can fund a greater amount of gateways and pump out a greater amount of Dragoons than the human opponent can. There's almost nothing you can do save for... Actually, I don't think there's any way that a human can match up to the production standards of the enemy AI. You have to be a little bit sneaky, you have to play slightly non-standard builds perhaps in order to take advantage of the tendencies of AI, but because of the fact that they will always have a slightly greater number of units than you will. That means in a straight up fight, Dragoon versus Dragoon, Muscle Toss versus Muscle Toss, you are bound to lose. AI have gotten significantly better at using pathing and terrain and not getting stuck on in various situations, although in my most recent games against Stardust, when I was playing Terran, it did make a couple of tactical errors with its army. So, since we aren't as aware of what Stardust may be doing nowadays, we are going to scout as the barracks has started, just to keep tabs on things. Maybe if it goes for a fast Nexus, we'll be able to try to punish it somehow. If it's going to go into DTs or something of that nature, that would be interesting to see as well. In the past, Stardust has generally relied on heavy Dragoon play. I definitely missed my gas timing, so the mistakes have already begun. I'm going to try to split up. Oh, there's the a probe coming into my base. Gladly we started that guess, and the probe came from this side, but AI tend to scout a bit earlier as well, so it's not really indicative of where the start location of the opponent may be. I know that Stardust is aware of our starting race, and that factors into his decisions as to what builds it will make. So my guess is almost done. Going to not miss that timing at least. Yep, put it right on there. And I have a suspicion that we are cross positions, which is makes it difficult for me to push Stardust, but it makes it a little bit easier for me to hold a defensible position. I'm going to go for defensive wall off. This is just so I can be safe against any early pressure. And I'm going to go factory siege expand, most likely. The reason why is because I find that build to be relatively safe. You get early siege mode, and you can actually transition into stuff like one fac port, which allows you to be sneaky and aggressive against the AI. We will eventually want to add some Marines. Oh, and here's the first Zealot. Let's check to see. Oh, no, Alright, so we do have a Cybernetics core up, and we let the probe out because I'm slow with it. Already falling apart a little bit here. We won't need the Marine quite yet. We can start after our command center, and we instantly see the upgrade here. Of course, it could be a fake upgrade, which would be interesting, but I don't think that that's the case here. So it is seeming to be a very standard play from Stardust here as he goes for a Dragoon opening off of one gateway, possibly going to add another one. Let's see, where'd that probe come from? Yep, a second gateway. So technically, our build is favored against two gateway openings because of the fact that siege tanks are so good. However, given the fact that AIs have a million APM and perfect awareness, that means that we are unlikely to actually deal all that much damage with our siege tanks, even if we're trying to be a little bit sneaky. Besides that, Stardust does have some jitters in their movement, so the Dragoons are constantly testing the range at which they can approach the enemy, so sometimes we do get a couple of pot shots off. I don't know if that's been improved, and now we see that the command center is coming up, possibly because of the Nexus is coming up, probably because it confirmed the presence of my command center first. So it's already adapted its build at least somewhat. The Dragoon, is it blocking? No, it has not blocked all that well. The Dragoon range is coming in, and a third gateway is coming in. That kind of removes the possibility of any sort of Reaver or DT shenanigans. And our first tank is out, and is going to be able to outrange the enemy here. Now we can start adding a couple Marines just to help secure our natural. And behind this, I will be opting for... no, you know what? I was thinking about opting for a dropship, but I don't think I will do so. The main reason being is that it's hard to catch the AI off guard, as I mentioned earlier. It's actually practically impossible to catch the AI off guard that way. We will wait for another tank. I should have probably waited for... I should have probably left the command center there so that we could produce some SCVs while we're waiting, but it's not going to be the situation here. We're going to start moving out now, and hopefully we'll be able to land our command center here safely. We do see the Zealots and... Oh, nope, and they're pulling back. Very nice play here. We're going to start adding a bunker here, and the AI wisely decides to back away from this. Great decision making from the AI here. More human shenanigans falling apart. And didn't transfer the SCVs. Great job, Chobo. Yeah, so far so good. We did manage to secure our expansion, but we are soon going to need to verify the location of any potential further expansions. One of the risks of both PvT and playing against AI in general is the fact that you will get out macroed and out expanded very quickly. I'm actually almost about to get supply blocked, and that's something that happens to humans and not AI generally as well. And generally, mechanical errors of this nature don't happen all that often either. So you'll have to bear with me for a bit. I want to make sure I have more tanks so I can eventually take my third base. So in the past, Stardust has utilized both carriers and arbiters in this matchup. That's something that it did not do a year ago, but did do in our show match. So that's something that I have to be aware of as well. Did complete both depots, so we're good for now. We're gonna float this over here, and because we're getting the comsat, I don't think that, and I don't think that we'll be seeing any shenanigans anytime soon. We should be fairly safe in the meantime. So it does make for a little bit of a more boring early game, but it does give me an opportunity to come in, to come to my senses a bit as we move into the other matchups later on. So at this point, we were very gas starved, and we could start thinking about taking an expansion. The problem is that Stardust is very good at diving against various openings of this nature. It runs in, takes out the tanks, so I think it's a little bit early still to be thinking about taking a command center at this time. But we are still floating quite a lot of money. So but that's because we need this armory to be working. More and more failures abound. We need the starport in order to build uh, the science facility, so we can get additional upgrades. We do have our expansions up, and yeah, of course, this base is already up. And what would be the next logical step for Stardust? Let's just check the main to see what is going on here. We are seeing the addition of the Citadel of Adun. We are seeing a StarGate. That's really solid play. That means that most likely we will be seeing Arbiter very soon, and we've definitely missed any timings that we could have had. And wow, alright, we're running in already. Let's see. No, yeah, we're not. Can't do that. Okay, we're going to build this supply depot here, and we're going to start thinking about expanding soon. We are going to build additional factories just to secure our exit, which is a bit suboptimal. Normally you'd want to expand with fewer factories rather than more, but it's an inevitable part of what we're doing here against Stardust in particular. As you can see, I'm still having mechanical flubs here and there, still almost getting supply blocked periodically, which will become more of a problem now that we're adding additional factories. And we are producing vultures, which produce a lot faster. We definitely should start thinking about another add-on soon, but yes, let's... and we need speed as well. Okay, we're almost on time with everything here in terms of upgrades, and oh, here we go. Here's another run-in attempt. Oh, is it really just an attempt? I think I might be in trouble here. Oh man, my vultures have made my tanks get stuck. Are you kidding me? Look at this. I lost all my tanks. Jeez. Oh, where's my I key? Jeez. Oh man, I got busted. That's it. All my tanks were. That's a wrap. I showed such a horrible play, and look at the economy difference too. Yeah, so my tanks could have been sieged up. I didn't want to siege up earlier because I didn't have supporting units like vultures. But as a result, he was able to come in, and I couldn't bring my tanks back because all my vultures were there. So that was a major flub by me. Great read by Stardust, busting down the front, recognizing the opening. And again, keep in mind that it starts with what I would consider to be the disadvantage build, the 2 gateway opening. But because of its strong early game economy, it can afford to go for a relatively strong Nexus timing after a 2-gate opener. It can afford to go for a third Nexus so quickly, and it outclassed us in every single aspect. It's just very hard to play against this AI, and I definitely dropped the ball there. So let's move on to the next matchup, where I will actually embarrass myself even more most likely. We are going to go for the Zerg matchup. I'm going to bring Schnell back real quick just to give you guys another visual of what we're doing here. I actually don't have for some reason I think I don't have the mouse cursor set up so that you can see it. Let me see if I can do anything about that. You know, it's going to take too much time. I think you guys can see the highlighting effect that I'm doing. So I select Zerg here, and we're going to be facing off against Stardust yet again. So hopefully I won't get as embarrassed this time, but I don't think that that's likely because I am actually worse at Zerg than I am at Terran. And even though ZVP is supposed to be one of the strongest matchups in the game for the first letter in that name, the Zerg is supposed to be more advantage against Protoss than Terran, obviously. But it takes a certain balance of economy and larva and decision making in order to do so. So I don't expect that I'll be very good at that. So one trick I just did right there is I moved all my larvae to the left side. It is supposed to make your mining efficiency a little bit better, and we're going to need all the advantages that we can get against the AI. I know sometimes drones, when they pop out over here, they have to travel further distance. You can only move your larva to the left side here. So, yeah, it takes a little bit of focus, and I'm a little bit unused to doing it. So, oh, see, and sometimes I guess like humans misclick too, so that's another obstacle into against what we're doing. I'm not going to be aggressive here. I imagine that Stardust is going to be aggressive. I'm going to go for an early hatchery into um, a standard opener with 6 Zerglings, because I anticipate that Stardust may go for army first. We're going to use the gas cancel trick here. That gives us an extra drone, and the drone and the overlord should pop out at the same time, allowing us to take our natural hatchery here. One thing to note for anyone watching who's not aware, you might notice that I'm on SD graphics. I generally prefer SD graphics anyway, but one thing to note is that this AI and all AI are only available on 1.16, which does come bundled with Snail, so you don't have to have remastered in order to play against the AI, but the disadvantage is you won't be able to play with the remastered graphics. One thing to note as well is that you can set your hotkeys and modify your hotkeys in the Snail client, which is something that was not a part of the original Brood War functionality. You can indeed set your hotkeys to whatever you like. I know that Grid has become more popular in the past decade or so for RTS games in particular. I believe the new AoE 2DE actually comes shipped with Grid as the default, and you have to opt into the classic graphics. So Stardust has scouted us already. I'm not going to scout Stardust though, because I'm going to be greedy, and I'm making 6 Zerglings. I'm going to make 8 Zerglings anyway at a fairly early timing, so that gives us a bit of a safety net that we can use in order to establish our information, and at least we can eliminate some starting locations at the start. I'll most likely have to split my Zerglings up as they're made, and I should have been definitely making drones as this is coming up, but unfortunately it's too little too late now. I'm going to go for a natural wall off and see if I can get into lurkers. Lurkers should be the advantage. Yeah, I could have been making I could have made like 3 drones so far. So that's definitely my mistake so far. It's a little bit hard when you're running around like this. Presence of mind is not at peak, especially when you're narrating a little bit. But we should still be in a decent position. We are not too badly hurt by this. So I'm going to start adding some drones to the equation. Yep, there we go. Some more dronos coming out. This probe, is it attacking? I don't think it's attacking. I think... Oh, now it's going to... Alright, so we'll send one Zergling to attack here. And time to find out what Stardust has been up to. Has it gone for the Forge Fast Expand? Has it gone for a Gateway Expand, which is much more difficult to do? Did I kill that probe? Yeah, I did. Wow. It's quite surprising, actually, considering the fact that they do have that enormous APM advantage over human players. I'm going to start my wall off here, I think. I'm going to go right into lurkers from one base and hope to go for a contain. Looks like I'm not going to scout Stardust on the first attempt here. Oh, yes, I am actually, and it's actually going to be Zerglings and... I'm sorry, Zealots and Dragoons, so not anything unexpected here. Dragoon heavy play is actually good against wall off, so I have to be very careful here, and I have to be balancing my economy. I'm not going to complete the wall off the way that I intended to with the Hydra Den here. I am going to continue adding Sunkens here, and I think I may have misplaced this first thing. I don't know if if a Hydralisk can pass through that. I'm going to keep an eye out on the expansion of the opponent here by doing this. I'm going to send a Zergling over here as well to hopefully deny that expansion. The layer is almost done, and my Zerglings are not in position to defend this. Oh god, dang it. My Zerglings are so far away from defending this. It's actually embarrassing. I should have been able to hold this, but without any losses, but my sunken colonies are in disarray, and yes, I did indeed block off my eventual Hydralisk play. Did I place that? Yes, I did, and it's going to be late. I need to force up some Sunkens quick. I remember the prevailing strategy in Stardust being what they call Sunken Man, and I've seen it being used to go into Cracklings, I've seen it being used to go into Guardians, and that kind of abuses the eye in a way that I could possibly go for, and if we have a lot of time later, I will try to go for that. But in the meantime, well, for this game I mean in particular, I'm going to try to play a little bit more standard. I'm going to not try to abuse the AI too much, but adding all these Sunkens is a natural way of approaching this. And already we have the expansion up for Stardust, of course. This is something that we anticipated. Hydralisk, I'm sorry, Lurker upgrade should be halfway done, so we need to start, yep, indeed, we need to start making our Hydras now. I think making that drone was a mistake. Oh, and we got caught out by this Dragoon. How is it shooting that far? I don't think it's supposed to be able to shoot that far. So yeah, there we go. Hidraliscos están completos. Sorry for my... I don't know why I did that. So eventually I think I'm going to have to actually kill this Sunken Colony in order to be able to get out of my base. It's going to be hard to advance on Stardust, given the fact that it is camping outside my base, which is the proper response to lurker openings. It is going to be hard as well to advance in general against Stardust, because it'll probably kite me all the way back to his base, depending on how it reacts to... How does it see that? Maybe because of the cliff bug? Alright, now need more overlords, clearly. And we can start thinking about doing Spines upgrade, and the goal of going for a contain is that afterwards you very quickly thereafter you take a lot of the map and you try to contain you prevent the Protoss from doing anything about it. So here we're going to run out, and the Zerglings are not going to be able to help at all. Yeah, and this puts me in a really tough spot because I just made an Overlord. What happened? Oh, I sent my Overlord there, didn't I? Alright, so I'm going to try to be sneaky here. I'm going to try to... Oh, you mother... Oh, jeez. Oh, come on, get there. Nope. No contain possible like this. We are going to be able to deny this base, maybe. How am I still out of Overlords? What the... Christ. Oh, that's why, because it didn't finish. Oh, and here comes the bus because I sent all my lurkers out. Great. Here comes the bust. We might be able to hold this. I don't know. Nope, the micro was just too good. I mean, we lost so much already. And now we're going to be losing our army piecemeal. We're going to lose our expansion, it seems, unless I get that lurker there quickly. Oh my god, this is such a disaster. I mean, the fact that he was camping outside my expansion, like, I'm so embarrassed right now. I definitely should have prepared better for this. And, oh, it was all the supply blocks, too. I'm floating like 1,000 different minerals. Oh my god, dude, this is just a travesty. I guarantee you he has like another expansion somewhere. And yeah, there's not even a point in playing on. Freaking G. Oh my god, dude. So, to go over what happened here, Stardust again opened with a very aggressive build, which gives him early army. Usually what Zerg can do is they can, if they hold off the initial aggression, they can use this to a later economic advantage, which I tried to do by establishing a lurker contain. As you could see, that Stardust did not have any observers to fight against the lurkers. However, because of human failings and because Stardust did manage to establish the expansion quite quickly after taking the natural, they had a decent economic position, a large army, and they were able to prevent me from actually advancing with those lurkers. For humans, it's very hard to manage your economy and try to kite the lurkers as they're advancing on your base. Normally, I may have been able to run all the way over to the natural of Stardust and contain it there for a little bit at least, but in this case, all my lurkers basically went down before they could get anywhere. Army was coming from both sides, and at the very first moment, I already knew I was in trouble when I tried to move out of my natural, and Stardust sent some units to the left and some units to the right. That's very difficult for lurkers in low numbers to handle, because I have to burrow on burrow, burrow on burrow, and push them back gradually. And Stardust with the infinite APM could always run away. So yeah, another embarrassing defeat at the hands of Stardust. Thank you very much. I'm going to go into Protoss now, against Protoss, which should be actually the most difficult matchup, I think. And this time I'm going to try to play straight up yet again. Since I anticipate that I'll die very quickly, we will have time for a couple more games where I will try to use some of those more abusive tactics that I mentioned earlier. I am going to try to go for a something like a mass 3-3 Zergling with Guardian or some sort, in order to somehow steal a win from Stardust by abusing the limitations of the AI. But as I said earlier, Stardust has been updated. Not quite clear what is the current way to abuse the AI. How can we play against it? But if you've gleaned anything, if you're a player of StarCraft and if you've gleaned anything from this game, first of all, you can glean that I'm not that great. Second of all, you can glean that the AI is actually going to be a good practice partner when you're playing Standard. Let's see. There we go. Should be in the game now. I'm going to be playing Protoss against Protoss, and again, I'm fighting Spirit. That's just what I'm comfortable with, and everyone's familiar with this map. So Protoss is actually my main race. It's what I played Brood War with for the majority of my life. I mean, I have had bouts of playing random, have bouts of playing Terran, just because playing just one race all the time it gets a little bit boring for me. But I've had the most success with Protoss, which is kind of typical for for foreign players who are not that great. um, there is the meme that Protoss is 1A, 2A, 3A easy. The fact that Protoss doesn't win all that many Star Leagues and tournaments kind of shows that that may be not the case at the high level, but I do agree that the early level Protoss is a little bit more user-friendly. The fact that building buildings requires you to add pylons, which add your supply, is a very organic way of expanding your supply. As we could see from last game, supply was a major issue there, floating a lot of money. And with Terrans as well, because of the fact that depots, you require an SCV to build them, it takes off from your mining efficiency. Protoss can drop buildings and drop and plop and run away with their probes after placing the building. But none of that will help me against Stardust, because of course Stardust is also Protoss as well, and is going to have much better economy than I am, off of the same amount of workers. So our goal is going to be to cut corners where we can in order to leverage advantages. So one of the ways that we can cut corners is we can skip Zealot. I know that Stardust likes to open with Zealot. We even saw it in the PvT matchup. By cutting Zealot, I am leaving myself a little bit vulnerable in the early game, but by the time that the first Zealot arrives, I should just about have my first Dragoon. The follow-up to that is going to be my attempt at Reaver expanding. So the reason why I'm going to be going Reaver expand is quite simple. It's because splash damage is the only way that I can deal with the superior numbers that Stardust is going to field. I actually scouted after Gateway, which I probably should not have done. I was just talking about efficiency and how we could be doing more for efficiency, but that's not going to be the case right now, because we did scout a little bit early, but Stardust scattered pretty early as well, I think. Most likely it spawned in the top left corner and scattered after Pylon just to confirm what's going on. Probably to verify the presence or absence of a proxy gateway. Always a good call. So we're going for one Gateway Dragoons into Robo into Nexus. I anticipate that Stardust will go for a Gateway Heavy build, and actually we're seeing a Pylon here, but oh no, that's because the Zealot is back here, and there's this I'm sorry, this Cybernetics Core. I noticed I always mess up words when I'm trying to play and talk at the same time. Yeah, see, the Zealot doesn't even go out. It doesn't. It doesn't even verify whether I'm going for a Reaver, I'm sorry, if I'm going for a Zealot or a Dragoon first. So actually this kind of opens the gate for us to possibly go for Robo first, which will help us secure our expansion a little bit quicker potentially. And actually we can go for something cheeky like Speed Shuttle opening, which I think could have success against Stardust. But it's always a double-edged sword when harassing AI. Part of the reason why is because they're almost always going to be able to replace workers better than you are. They'll be able to react to drops and mitigate damage better than you are, and at the same time, you as a human who doesn't have all that APM are going to fall behind in terms of economy, because you won't be producing probes, you won't be sending probes to the mineral line, because you have to put your attention, your screen, your vision onto the harassing area, at least for a little bit. So what does this all add up to? It adds up to the fact that you are incurring economic damage while trying to do economic damage, but it's harder than it normally is. So we do have our first 2 Dragoons out. That's a good place to be in, and we are going to take it slow this time. I'm going to try to do the more standard opener, which is the Reaver Expand. We should be getting a... I'm going to check the army count just to see if it's a Zealot open potential. I'm sorry, a DT opening, but no, it looks like it's not, and it's going to be 3 Gateway Dragoons. 3 Gateway Dragoons is a bit difficult to hold with heavy Reaver play. I'm sorry, with a Reaver first play, but that means that we get to skip that observatory, we get to afford, and oh, I'm going to get supply block after this, so I need to make that Reaver. There we go. Okay, good. You can use this opportunity to build the pro. So yeah, supply blocked already, despite the fact that I mentioned that it's easier to not get supply blocked. I'm gonna leave a slight gap here just to make sure that Scarabs can come out once our Reaver gets out there. I guess, yeah, I think that'll be it for now. So these pylons are generally placed just to have vision against the enemy. This concave is going to protect us for now. We should have another Dragoon on the way now. There we go. And I'm not going to go for shuttle and speed quite yet, or at all really. I think I'm going to go wait for 2 Reavers before I add the shuttle, just to establish that nexus, and then maybe think about it being aggressive. So first Reaver's out. We're going to try to use it in a slightly aggressive fashion by poking down the ramp, see how it fares, and already there's a reaction from Stardust, trying to chase down the Reaver, but did take a meaty shot there. I noticed that the Zealot is a bit far forward. Okay, too aggressive there. Yeah, we don't want to do that until we have some more support out in the form of more Dragoons. We can add our second gateway now, I think, and I did send that probe out there to do that. Still being pressured up here. We don't have range yet either, keep in mind. So that's why how does he shooting uphill against that? I don't get. Oh, it's because of the bad doodad or wall doodad or whatever you want to call it. Oh my God, it's not Reavers and ramps, man. Reavers and ramps. I'm about to get supply blocked again. No bueno. Gonna. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I mean, moving out against this is actually really difficult. Okay. I think spamming hold has done the trick to some extent. We can also now move up here because we have range. And we're going to try to take that natural now. It's going to be difficult. But we do have the shuttle out. We need to be very careful. We need to make sure that we can set this up first. And we can't be too aggressive yet. We're going to try to go for another Reaver probably before I do harass. But there's this immense pressure now because I know that Stardust has expanded behind this. I know that Stardust has a superior Reaver army count. I'm going to try to pick up this Reaver. Saved it. I'm going to try to pick up this. No! Ugh. So we did manage to hold, but we did lose the Reaver, which is not good for us, and yeah, that hurts. I should have had the shuttle right above the Reaver. The Reaver's hurt pretty damn bad. That's not good in any way. I could have had my rally out here already, too. But we did get the expansion off, and I think Stardust is not going to want to mess with that for a little bit. We're going to fix our concave here a little bit. This is another example of humans focusing on things that AI don't have to think much about. Quote-unquote think. I definitely thought I started that Reaver. What happened? Was I supply blocked again, as always? Okay. Well, either way, I think the only way out of it... Oh! No! Slow... I keep making the mistake of sending the shuttle to click on the Reaver as opposed to moving it past so it gets the acceleration I can lift it. Now we have no Reaver because I'm a stupid idiot and and we're basically boned. I mean, we have done significant damage to the army just from the scares. We have expanded, but I anticipate that Stardust probably has 3 bases by now, and that's no bueno for us in any sense of the word. Um, we are going for speed law. I was hoping to go for a timing, but I don't think that that's going to be viable anymore because the timing relies on the fact that I have 2 Reavers and a shuttle, and I only have the shuttle and 1 Reaver right now. So I'm going to do a desperation move. I'm going to try to harass with this Reaver as the next one is coming out. Yes, it is. No, not. Okay. Okay. So, getting speed. No, we're not. Not yet, at least. We're in big trouble. And this is with us, keep in mind, we are cutting corners. We didn't get observers because we don't anticipate DTs. If DTs came right now, we'd be dead. Generally, you would get a forge in order to... I did get a forge. You would get a forge to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. But the other danger is, of course, that we get out expanded, which I anticipate we will discover now as I fly into the third base. We should anticipate to see probes here. And actually, oh, just a Nexus. That's pretty good for us. The Nexus just was placed, so maybe we can actually pommel it down. That would be a good pickup for us. Okay, that is done, and we took down the Nexus, so that's good for us. I don't know if it canceled or not. More pylons as always. And we're going to go into Templar Tech, which hopefully should open the gate for us a little bit to do some more damage. But we are aware that Stardust is thinking about that third base, and in the and behind this, we are going to need to go for an all-in timing. I think that means Zealots, Templar, and all that good stuff. The problem is with humans also is that we're incredibly dumb in our own ways. So as you can see, when I'm supply blocked and I'm trying to go for a timing attack, I have added just 1 pylon when I could, which means that I'm late on the next macro cycle as well. That's not smart play. I should be adding more than 1 pylon at a time. I even do it with Zerg, so I don't know why I don't do it. This guy doesn't have any Scarab shells, so that's not good. Okay, where's the shuttle? Shuttle goes down, great pickoff, and I'm in trouble now. Now I'm in heavy trouble. Because I don't have a way of saving my Reaver. And did it only shoot 1 Scarab, really? And yeah, I'm just dead now. Look at this. I'm just dead. Now I'm just dead. It went in, it sniped the shuttle, it sniped the Reaver, and now I don't have enough to... Yep, that's GG. Get supply blocked like a noob. And end up really far behind as always. Great job, Chobo. So, those 3 embarrassing games out of the way, I'm going to try to redeem my honor by being a dishonorable cur and doing the build that I know in the past has given Stardust the most trouble, which is sunken into Cracklings and Guardians. And that is going to be the name of the game. Sunkens are very good against Dragoons, they're very good against Zealots. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go sunken. It's not going to be the greatest viewing experience potentially, because I'm not going to actually be trying to interact with the bot. I'm just straight up abusing the bot. But at this point, I think you can't blame me for trying to eke out even 1 win against this opponent. As you can see, when you try to go for standard human stuff that works on humans, it gets shut the F down real quick by Stardust. So I am going to go, and credit to Felipe Carvalho, I believe is the pronunciation, in the Chanel Discord, who came up with this quote-unquote response to Stardust. Probably about 6 months ago, I want to say, maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe a little bit less. Basically, they were trying to find ways to beat Stardust, and the incredible way in which they, in which the economy skyrockets for this AI. And as a result, they discovered this way of abusing gateway heavy play. This is something that was brought up by Bruce, I think, in the show match that I did with Stardust as they were casting. It was kind of like a role reversal. The bot author was casting the human play against its AI as opposed to me casting the games that the that AI play against each other, or AI play against humans, or against me. Um, Either way, the bot author became caster, and they discussed that. Well, they Stardust basically won the first 3 games in a best of 7, and then I won the next 4 games. And what the author was basically saying was like, yeah, this is very typical, so the AI has all of these advantages at the start, but as soon as the human starts understanding what the AI is doing and trying to engage in some sort of counterplay, um, the AI's weaknesses become apparent, and the AI can't adapt the way a human can. Another joke that that I've seen, I think it was Sanko, or maybe it was might have been Purple Wave used, that they're like, yeah, what would you rather have, like 100,000 APM, or like 10 million neuron connections or something like that, right? We have advanced machinery inside of our own skulls, even though we are prone to do some of the dumbest things known to mankind, or in general. Um, so I think that I think that's a very apt way of describing the interaction between human players and AI. However, as if you don't play in a way that is outright abusive, as I'm about to do right now, you will find that the AI can be quite a challenging opponent, if you've noticed anything from the first 3 games that I played on this channel. So, um, our main priority is going to be, again, be defense, and this time I did make the drones while the spawning pool is coming up. That's good. Um, I am going to add the 3rd hatchery now, but I'm not going to put it in the natural because it doesn't actually give us any benefits in the natural. Normally you put it there for SimCity to prevent zealots from running in, but because we know that Stardust favors that Dragoon heavy playstyle, we know that we're not going to need all that much, and we are going to just make 1 set of Zerglings too. I actually could have done that from this round of larva, but instead I made it from this one. And we're going to start our sunken wall, basically. Did I start those Zerglings? I did, indeed. And we are going to try to rush to Cracklings. Cracklings in low numbers do not that great against Dragoons, and when the Dragoon mass is big enough, they can one-shot quite a lot of Zerglings before the Zergling close in. But with armor upgrades and such, it does become a little bit more of a possibility. Did we kill that scout? Yeah, the scout's really lazy for Stardust, which is kind of interesting to me. Don't want to miss the Overlord timing. We are going to miss the Overlord timing, I think. Did I hotkey this hatchery? No, I did not. And the goal is to get to layer now anyway, so we should be fine with this layer timing. And I'm going to actually try forward Guardians. I think Guardians is another approach I've seen work. I think it might have been Hao Pan that tried it, or another bot author tried it in general. So, okay, we found the enemy, and we're going to hurriedly add Sunkens now, because the aggression is coming, and we're going to be in trouble. This is why Protoss is superior. Look at that. I wouldn't have had to worry about that if I was okay, going to use this Zergling to keep eyes on the 3rd. Going to use this Zergling to keep eyes over here, and going to use this Overlord to keep eyes on the natural. And we forgot to start the sunken, so I'm actually failing at what is supposed to be the easy approach to the game here. Alright, maybe if we block off with the drones for a little bit, we should be able to. Oh, we're good actually. We're good. Sunkens for the win. So yeah, this Zergling is going to defend this area. Okay. And again, our goal is to get to as many Zerglings as possible, as fast as possible, with crack upgrades. So we're going to go right into Hive here. And alright, you know what, actually, I think I'm going to start off with just the Zerglings. And oh, I should have been going for the evolution chambers right now, too, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, this amount of Dragoons is getting scary. Yeah, that's better. So one of the downsides of going for this heavy sunken style is that your economy is really, really weak. But on the plus side, you're not dead, so that's something to consider as well. Upgrades are going to be more important at this juncture than getting to Hive quick enough because we don't have the economy to support great Zergling production anyway. And so far so good. I think that with the amount of sunkens that we're getting to, no, I don't want speed yet. I want more drones. That's what I need right now because I need to be able to add more sunkens as they fall. I need more economy, and then we can actually start thinking about adding the hive tech and the other techs that we need for the Zergling mass, as they call them, cracklings. So let's see. Yeah, the AI seems aware of its inability to handle. You know what? I'm going to fix my mining efficiency a little bit by placing that sunken here. It seems aware of its inability to handle large numbers of sunkens, and it's actually not even expanding, I think. That's an interesting situation. It has taken this base, so that's good. And yeah, we're on our way to Hive now, so cracklings are going to be coming in soon. No, 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 why? How is it always... I guess I'm just bad at placing this. Looks like the Zergling got cleared out here, so we are aware that it's taking that third base. Not going to try to lose overlords this time. And start thinking about adding speed. And now we have a pretty healthy economy off 2 bases at the very least. We can start thinking about adding Zerglings now. So one thing that Stardust doesn't do is it doesn't get Sayers, aka Corsairs, or Corea. I don't know what actually the proper pronunciation is, to be honest with you, but it seems like a French word. And that means that we don't have to have a Spire or Hydralisk Den. It tries to brute force the issue, right? And that's because it's kind of like solving all your problems with like a rock, you know what I mean? Like using the tool as a rock and using it for every situation that you encounter. The rock solves many problems, right? You don't have to use a knife to cut a stick in half if you can just smack it against a tree really hard and break it in half that way. You don't have to, you know, have a brain in order to kill. Yeah, that was going to be a bad analogy. I'm going to stop that one there. I didn't actually think that one through. So I think Stardust, it's going to be difficult for me to break through this because my Zerglings are going to come in piecemeal a bit. But I'm going to do my best here. I'm going to try to place as many of them as I can in my natural. Oh, and now we're starting to get a little bit aggressive. That's good for me because it's good to thin out the army a little bit, but it also is maybe indicative of the fact that Stardust maybe has like basically maxed out already. And look at the way that it efficiently takes down defenses here. It used the same tactics against my Dragoons earlier, I believe, and now we have to replace a lot of these sunken colonies. So, and it's actually hit before we have cracks, so that's a troubling factor as well. At least the Zerglings are managing to chase it off. Now we can replace some of the... Oh, I should have been having this on the way. Let's look at what the engagement is. Yeah, it's gonna kite those to death. So we do have some Zerglings. That's good. We never quite got to that mass that we wanted, really. But we do need to get to the point. All right, so I'm gonna try to actually play a little bit and surround this army now. It did lose a lot of its bulk. There we go. We surround the army. Stardust trying to run away. And okay. Ugh. Oh, yo, you can't be serious right now. Why did you... It stalled for so long. Alright, we're gonna be sneaky here. We did finish crack. Good. Alright, that's one way to abuse the situation. Stardust is gonna try to poke in here again, I think, but I think at this point... Oh, no, this is not good. This traffic jam. Okay. I think we're on the aggressive now, so we can afford to rally out here. And we have lost quite a number of drones, so that is not good as well. gonna send them on attack move to this direction. We know that Stardust. You know what? Actually, we don't know that. It's going to be. It would be wise to check those locations. Yeah, and we're just getting kited while we idle, but because we have such numbers, I think we might be okay. So we're going to be sneaky, and we're going to go around this way so that Stardust isn't aware of our movements here. Yeah, maybe going over here makes more sense. So because we have so many sunken, Stardust can't engage again. And it looks like a probe is being sent out to go over here, so we're going to intercept that. Oh, it's going over here. Perfect for us. Do we have the upgrades coming? Yes, we do. Upgrades, upgrades, Zerglings, Zerglings. And it seems like the pure crack approach would in theory work, based on what I'm seeing here so far, without going into Guardians or complicating matters too much. We are going to, again, take down this pylon because it's easier than taking down the cannons with the probes all over there. And now we're going to take down some of the workers, or try to at least take down some of the infrastructure. And, yeah, we lost an Overlord somehow again. I don't know how. And we're getting closer to that point where we can move out again. Hopefully, we do need to think about expanding at some point. So this is an alarming situation to be in a little bit. We do need to engage a little bit more intelligently, I think. So we can try to come out here first, so we're not coming out fully piecemeal. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that should be good. Oh my god, I made so many. And no, we're getting Stardusted. I'm failing at what should be the most fundamentally easy approach to this. Maybe I need to add ultras, I guess. I think that might be the answer here. Oh no, we just needed Stardust to suicide a little bit. That was a part of the strategy for Felipe as well. You wait for Stardust to cut down its own numbers a bit. But in exchange, we have lost again a fair number of sunken colonies. How? Yeah, we're getting kited to death. It's so depressing. I think maybe I focused too much on killing that expansion, and I kept getting distracted without actually doing any damage. That could be a contributing factor to what I can't believe I'm going to lose this again. It's because Stardust, I think Stardust just learned how to not lose so many units to random engagements, which is going to help it a lot in this case. And it's sniping these Sunkers before they can finish. Very nicely done. I mean, yeah, I'm just a complete embarrassment. I haven't been able to do anything right. And yeah, that's the game. Well played by Stardust. So Stardust at least shored up that hole to some extent. Maybe I didn't execute quite as well as Felipe had in the past. There were some gaps there, but yeah, I think that an 0 and 4. I got 40'd. I've got 40s, and I'm gonna have to go buy a 40 now to wash away the tears. So, what is there to say? Got embarrassed, got absolutely trounced, and yeah. Hope you guys have some appreciation for what Stardust is capable of. I, of course, didn't show off its full capacity, and it's a little bit harder to ascertain it with the Fog of War. But I think that you might have a feeling for how stressful it is to play against an AI that can produce with such consistency and so much and with so little. I'm really excited to see where Stardust is going to go next. And I mean, it's interesting to me, first of all, that if you look at the statistics here, Diaz is at the top, Banana Brain is second, and Stardust is only third right now. Maybe some growing pains with the new strategies and such. But it has been winning the tournaments against these opponents, so maybe there is something that humans are doing that is abusing Stardust more than what it can achieve against Banana Brain and Diaz, for example. I know, for example, Banana Brain has very strong shuttle Reaver micro, so that's something that maybe we will look into next time. Next time we are going to do FPV StarCraft, once my ego recovers a little bit from this excursion we just did right here. Hopefully it was entertaining for you guys. Hopefully you got to feel the power of Stardust and the power of StarCraft AI. Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful November coming up, wonderful rest of the year. Look forward to seeing you all again next week. Nightcat should be taking over again, but I think maybe maybe he wants to let me take over for a week after he pulled out basically the entire month of October by himself. Either way, we will be back here next week on the SSCAIT report, one way or another. Do look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.